Hey, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. So glad you're here. If you're here, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the page. That helps us. Fireworks are going off in the video. Happy New Year. That's right. Happy New Year. I love that Apple was like, wait a minute. We need to celebrate before we start asking for things. How rude of you. Touche, Apple. Happy New Year. Please make my New Year special by clicking like and subscribe to my page. By subscribing to my page, I get all these amazing fans and I'm building this community and I'll be able to bring you guys so much more fun content. So thank you ahead of time. Call the podcast. You can ask me questions. Keep it cute. Ask for advice. 513-916-0930. And don't forget that a portion of however you support me, whether that's coming to see me live or buying merch from my website, check out the Hot Sister hats. Those are new. However you support me, whether it's by buying merch or coming to see me at a show, a portion of those sales go towards the Alzheimer's Association, the SoCal chapter, and also Hilarity for Charity, both amazing Alzheimer's charities that I am an ambassador for and do some charity work with. So thank you guys so much. By supporting me, you're supporting these amazing causes. This has been one hell of a year. We say that every year, I feel. This episode, we're going to be talking about some of my favorite moments in pop culture from 2024, some of my least favorite, and some of the things that I've learned. I'm also going to tell you something so sad that happened, but also very enlightening with my nephew during Christmas time. It was really one of those moments that kind of hit me in my gut, and I'll tell you at the end of the podcast about that. But before we get into all of that stuff, some of my favorite stuff that happened in 2024, because let's remind ourselves that it wasn't all a hellfire. The whole thing wasn't a fever dream. 95% of it was. Okay, I've got my emotional support scrunchie. That's what 2024 brought me. Everything I have on my person became an emotional support something. This is my emotional support tea, wink, wink. This is my emotional support sage. This is my back in the day TBT, FBF, emotional support BFF, Jaleel. Everything I own became an emotional support pet. That's the type of year it was. And there weren't all horrible situations. There weren't all horrible stories. So we're going to get into some of the more funny, cute things. First of all, one of my favorite things from 2024 was that adorable, cute, plush, I swear it was AI, hippopotamus. Mickey, Muck, Big Bang. Oh my God, what's his name? Mao Zedong. What was the damn hippopotamus's name? Mao Bang? Ming Dong. I'm not even being funny. Mu Dang. He's so cute. Mu Dang was the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. He honestly looked fake. Mu Dang looked fake. And I think one of the things that was probably, I don't know, the reason why he became so popular is because he very well may be AI. It doesn't look real. The wetness doesn't look real. And if you guys are like, who are you talking about? In Bangkok, that cute little hippopotamus. She has those pinkish cheeks, very charismatic, a little bit of a troublemaker from what I remember. She was a problem. She'd bite people. She was rude. And of course, you guys were like, oh my God, how cute, how sweet. Do you know hippopotamuses kill people? Hippos literally kill people. I think hippos kill more people each year than sharks. And you ever see a hippo swim? That's not cute. Like a grown hippo? Why is it so athletic? I've never seen a creature that looks like that moves like that in nature. Like I understand a cheetah being fast. Even an elephant coming at you strong. A hippopotamus, it looks like it's half done. It reminds me of that joke from Robin Williams who says, you know, you don't think God has a sense of humor, just look at a platypus. I feel the same way about hippopotamus. First of all, the name is ridiculous. And it looks like 3-4 different creatures from 2 or 3 different times in history. One of which humans weren't even around. Why does it swim so well? This thing looks like it's on the Olympic swim team. How is it able to how is it able to perfect the breaststroke? And its feet, it's got feet of an elephant, the face of nothing we've ever seen before. Honestly, the face of I don't know. If Jeff Ross were to become some sort of alien creature in outer space, and then they try to turn it back into a human, but then someone fell when they were bringing the final dish, the Petri dish, to the science lab, and then that thing got zapped under some machine, and then it created a hippopotamus. That's what hippos look like to me, with a little bit of Jeff Ross. I love you, Jeff. I know you can take it. You literally talk trash about everybody. One of my faves, the goat. But this Mao Bang, Ming Bang, Mukbang was just a breath of fresh air. A little bit of a bastard. Everybody loved him or her. But let's be real. You're not going to love it when it becomes an adult. It's no longer cute. It's terrifying. And it's swimming at you when you're on some tourist excursion in a marsh. And then breached out of the water is this alien Jeff Ross creature coming at you unnaturally fast. I don't trust it, but I do love it. I thought he's cute. Mao Bang, Ming, Mu Dong, love him. Other story that it's like I love-hate, but I loved it because of how it ended. You guys are probably sick of talking about it. J-Lo and Ben Affleck. What a roller coaster. What an emotional roller coaster. They're off, they're on, they're off, they're on. Both of them are so indecisive. It seems that neither of them have changed. J-Lo somehow made herself an annoying human being. And I don't know what it is. Was she too annoying or was he too drunk? They sound kind of perfect together and for each other. But I didn't know that J-Lo ended up canceling her summer tour when they split up. And I feel bad when sometimes I can't get to a podcast. This girl canceled an entire Live Nation tour. I'm over here like, oh my God, I had the flu. I couldn't get a podcast up and I'm riddled with guilt for 2 weeks. This girl cancels an entire tour. Like thousands of jobs didn't happen because of her in a breakup. So you know what? I love the story because I was like, hey, I'm not doing so bad. She said in the statement that she put out for the cancellation, I'm completely heartsick and devastated about letting you down. Please know that I wouldn't do this if I didn't feel it was absolutely necessary. I promise I'll make it up to you and we will all be together again. I love you all so much. Until next time. Does she really love you all so much? Sounds like she doesn't. If she's canceling. Everybody did get a refund, by the way, an automatic refund from Live Nation. I'm sure you guys are wondering, well, did they get their money back? And how much is a ticket to go see J-Lo? Deb, can you look that up and text it or hold it up so I can see? I wonder how much is the cheapest ticket to go see her? Because if it's not less than $100, I'm going to be furious. I just think about that video when she was like, had her hair and she's like, man, my hair like this just reminds me when I was on the block. And then everybody's like, we don't remember you from the block. You were there for 6 minutes and then you left us. You left us. For those purchased via third-party resale sites such as SeatGeek, StubHub, Vivid Seats, please reach out to your point of purchase for more details. So everybody got the refund, and I guess people who got third-party tickets were the ones who got screwed. So that's why you should always buy your ticket from a reputable site. Does it say how much it is? To go see a J-Lo concert, Deb's holding it up here. Oh, God, she's dropping her phone. It's probably, I'm going to guess, the cheapest ticket to see J-Lo will be $150, maybe $80. If it's any more than $80, I feel like you're not going to get your money's worth. But there's no way I could do what J-Lo does, which is mediocre movies and mediocre singing. I'm sorry. It's just my opinion. Okay? Doesn't mean it's factual. There's a lot of people who love her. I love the story. What does it say? A price of J-Lo concert tickets varies by location and date, but here are some examples. Most shows had lowest prices under $100. Okay, $49.95. Now we're talking. Looks like I'm going to a J-Lo concert in 2025. Thanks, Deb. I just love the story. I love the fact that they couldn't make it work. Well, like, you know that old thing that used to do in People magazine, stars, celebrities are just like us. See, they're just like us. Their relationships fail. So don't think that everything failed in 2024 because your relationship failed. Even J-Lo had a rough time. They're just like us. Another story that just swept America, captured our hearts. And it really, in my mind, encapsulated America's mindset. And maybe even our level of sophistication or lack thereof. Hawk Tuah. How and why did that take fire? I'll never understand. And maybe, a lot of it has to do with generational separation and also senses of humor. Everyone has a different sense of humor. Hawk Tuah, there's no way she won't regret that one day. There's no way. I have selfies I regret. I have posts on my Instagram that you'll never see again. This girl went on a random person's TikTok or whatever the video was for and described giving pleasure to a man in a way that I think one day will probably bite her in the butt. It already has, because she launched that Bitcoin thing that ended up being a scam. This girl's facing jail time all because she said Hawk Tuah. My God. You see, open your mouth. Some people get held accountable. And then other people become president. That's the only political portion of the show. Thank you so much. We appreciate your support. Please don't forget to check out the Patreon page if you'd like to be a part of the exclusive content. One of my favorite moments of 2024, and I hope it was 2024. I think it was 2024. Were the Olympics were in 2024, right? This is stuff I should probably fact check. Yeah, the Olympics were in 2024. One of my favorite moments of 2024 during the Olympics, do I even need to say it? It's when the pole got stuck on the pole. Do you remember when the pole got stuck on the pole? Oh, Anthony Ammirati, little Nadia Ammirati. What? Oh my God, I'm going to go to an Olympic event. Had no idea. The dong toss was even a part of it. Look at this. It's like a hot dog stand. Whoa. I mean, that was for all types of people. That moment was for old people, for not appropriately aged people, MILFs, for women in their 30s, for newly single women. Hi. That moment was for all of us, and gays, and men who were in the closet. That moment was for every single one of us. That moment should have brought America together, and it didn't. When he went over that pole and his dong got stuck on it, that was Olympic gold. It was Olympic gold. The fact that he got, I think he got eliminated because of that is offensive. Why would he get eliminated? He should have been, he should have gotten a raise. He got eliminated? That man should have gotten promoted. He's out here holding the weight of the entire Olympic competition on his wiener. And the bounce that thing had, it should be studied by NASA scientists. They should be using that for landing gear on airplanes. What is that thing made out of? It looks so cozy. And it really brought me hope. That moment, I was like, this year's not going to be so bad. Everything's going to be okay. And that's why we need moments like that in our lives. Everything else is burning. Things are falling down around you. Here comes good old Anthony with his chunky monkey, and he does a flip over the thing, and it just brings hope to all of us. A tear fell out of my eye, and I thought, it's going to be a good day. It's going to be okay. God bless America. That's what we need more of. Just Olympic dong. That should be a whole section of the Olympics just for women and gays and whoever else would enjoy it. Just dongs being hit on things. Bobsled dong. I know that they have that the thing where they scooch down the ice and then they get low and then they shuffle. Is it like frozen shuffleboard? I don't know what they call it. Shuffle. It's the thing the squeegee game. They should have that with dongs. The balance beam. What if it's just a guy laying down and they have to balance different things on his beam? I'm saying I'm available for Olympic creativity. I'm available to be on the Olympic team. Curling. Thank you, Deb. Yes, the curling. The frozen shuffleboard is what I think is a better term. Curling. What is this, a hair competition? All I'm saying is there's plenty of Olympic events where we could replace the boring athleticism with men and their dongs. And have Kevin Hart and Snoop Dogg be commentators for that. If you do anything for yourself, watch videos of Kevin Hart and Snoop Dogg commenting on the Olympics. That deserved an Emmy. I don't even know if they were up for an Emmy, but they deserved it. So that was my favorite moment of 2024. I thought of something to get rid of in 2024, or 2025 rather, is asking people, how are you? We know how everybody is. Don't ask me that anymore. Because I'm only going to answer honestly. I'm not well. I'm unwell. A lot of us are unwell. A lot of us, if we answer that question honestly, we're crumbling inside. Let's not ask people how they are. You don't want the answer. The honest answer is brutal. How about we start asking questions that are specific? Like, what would your superpower be? My superpower would be to have people not ask me how I am ever again. And also to be able to fly. Those two things would be my superpower. Asking how are you? You really want to know? I'm honestly great personally. I'm only saying for the rest of the world, it feels like a really loaded question. I feel great right now. I feel light. I feel excited. But that question isn't easy to answer for a lot of people, and people have to lie. Now you're forcing people to lie because I know you're trying to connect with me, and I have to be like, good. Yeah. Meanwhile, my dog's paw is busted open. He's eating rat poison, and my other dog has no teeth. And, there's a pothole the size of the opening to Hell's Gates in front of my house for some reason. Hell is cracked open. Also, there's a tsunami on its way. But I'm great. Great. We should ask more weird, specific questions. Like, do you like toes? That would get somebody to be like, why would you ask me that? And you're like, no reason, just making small talk. It's the farthest thing from small talk. And I think that's what it is for me. I can't stand small talk. I don't like small talk. I only want to have big talk with small groups of people in 2025. Let's, on top of getting rid of asking people, how are you? Let's get rid of small talk. I don't want small talk anymore. Let's have real conversations. What do you think about aliens? That sounds like a really general question, but that's a room divider. That thing will divide a room and is more divisive than a political question. Let's ask questions about, what did you want to be when you were a kid? Did you ever see your parents hooking up? One time I saw my stepdad going down on my mom, and I thought that they had a cat in the middle of them. I honestly had no idea what it was. I thought Steve had jigs in a headlock. I'm being for real. I didn't know what that was at all. So why are they wrestling with the cat? Turns out he just wasn't the pet. Anywho, my mom is dead and Steve doesn't listen to this podcast, so we're totally safe on that one. No more small talk in 2024. Big talk with small groups of people. I want real, engaged conversation. I'm going to look you in the eye and I'm going to listen to you. I feel like Jason Bateman. Jason Bateman always goes, I'm gonna. He says, I'm gonna. I only know that because I'm an avid listener of Smartless podcast. Check it out. It's a great road trip podcast. Besides this one, make sure you share my podcast with your friends. But Smartless is something I turn on and listen to whenever I get into the car if I'm going to be in the car for an extended amount of time. Okay, speaking of nothing that has to do with this, I just was trying to do a segue. Maybay mail. Some of my favorite Maybay mail from 2024. This is where you guys just send me messages, DMs, you email me, which you can do at Jessimae Peluso comedy@gmail.com. You guys have sent me some really sweet messages throughout the month and the years, and I collected a few of my favorite from 2024. This one is from November 30th from Desiree Bakhtiar. I honestly feel honored to be able to listen to your podcast because it's truly unlike any other. It literally makes my days 10 times better after listening. Sending you lots of love and wishing you happy holidays. You know, whoever's able to do what they enjoy is very lucky. Then there's the aspect of realizing and acknowledging and hearing from you guys that this show that I do, stand up or whatever, these words that I put out into the world affect you in a healthy, happy way. To me, there's nothing better. That and meeting Stamos. Those are they're head to head, guys. Another message from Patrick Venzina. All of these I probably read on individual episodes before, but this one really hit me in the gut. Hey, Jessimae, I remember being all fucked up in the ICU after surgery when I was in deep with cancer. I spent a month in the ICU and had to do about 19 rounds of chemotherapy afterwards. LOL. I sent a message to you when I was listening to your podcast, lit up on painkillers. Watched your live cast while getting high with you on the THC, and I got the news last week that I'm 100% cancer-free and 1 year in remission. Big fan from Montreal. You're my favorite comic, and it was fun tuning in and tuning out of reality when watching you live and listening to your podcasts. Keep on. I can't tell you enough. There's no part of me that can explain or express how much that means to me. I was a kid who talked a lot during school, and I was really smart and curious and eager to make friends and all of that, but all I wanted to do was to make people feel good from a young age. And the fact that I'm able to do that now as a career with this podcast, honestly, it makes me, it fills me with contentment and it fills me with purpose. So thank you for everybody who sends me messages. And then I get this message. You know, I was scrolling through YouTube videos on my mobile phone and suddenly a video from your Jessimae Peluso YouTube channel came in front of me. I had been watching your entire video with fascination. Then I watched the rest of the video on your YouTube channel. Your every YouTube video is truly appreciated. Your content fascinates me. Keep gifting us with your awesome video content forever. I think you will someday conquer the world with your talent and work. Best wishes to you forever. Keep creating great YouTube videos. Oh my God, that was from Al Moomin. That's a real name. And then I get this one from Patricia a few days later. I was scrolling through YouTube videos on my mobile phone and suddenly a video from your Jessimae Peluso YouTube channel came in front of me. I've been watching your entire video with fascination. Then I watched the rest of your video on your YouTube channel. Your every YouTube video is truly appreciated. Your content fascinates me. Keep gifting us with your awesome video content forever. I think you will someday conquer the world with your talent and work. Best wishes to you forever. Keep up creating YouTube videos. It was a scam! They're tugging on my heartstrings. I don't know what's real. So I need you guys to send me more messages that are real so I can tell the difference. I get scammed? You guys are tugging at my heartstrings? Scamming me? There was another one from Aaron. Hey, Jessimae, I just watched your episode on the Honeydew podcast from a couple years ago where you talked about your dad, and I wanted to thank you. I cried all the way through, and I really needed to. You said at the end that people need to love and to release to heal, and I was able to release tonight. I lost my dad in very complicated ways due to dementia 4 years ago, and I still haven't processed it. But you were able to articulate everything I've thought of and felt and how all-encompassing the disease is for everyone around. Thank you for sharing and being so vulnerable. I needed it and felt some healing tonight. That's the thing, man. There's this universal need to heal, and as much as there's a lot of information out there and resources, it's still difficult for a lot of people. And so I feel like I can be the conduit for a lot of people to reach another side of healing or to reach the other side of themselves to get them closer to some form of healing. And doing that with a little bit of humor is what I do. And I feel really excited to embark on this next chapter of the podcast. I'm being verbally harassed by a little fucking dog in my backyard right now, and it's rude. I will come out and fight you, bro. Okay? Talk about grief. Gonna meet a couple of these grief sandwiches. So let me tell you about what happened with my nephew during the holidays. Well, first let me say, this year was wild for a lot of us. A lot of highs and lows. There's a lot of things that we all had to go through. I guess a couple of my most challenging moments of 2024, and I can't believe these happened in 2024 because it feels like the year flew by. And that happens a lot when we're functioning from survival mode. I feel everything goes so fast. And it takes a lot to really slow down and be able to figure out and differentiate what you need to do from what you don't need to do and how you should handle something from how you shouldn't handle it. It's all very difficult, becoming an adult and responding to things in an adult way. That being said, this year was a year I sold my childhood home. This was the year I got into the most car accidents of my life. This was the year that I had to go through a breakup. And this also was the first year I didn't go to my mom's house for the holidays. And that was a transition. And a lot of what I've read about grief and coping with grief, one of the most important things and a very beneficial way to navigate through loss is to change your traditions. And I did that when my dad died, 2018. When he passed away, I joined the USO in an overseas holiday tour. And first time I wasn't home for the holidays ever in my life. And I had to make that decision to leave my family on Christmas and go spend it with other people's families who can't be with their family on the holidays because they're busy protecting our freedoms. It sounds like an easy decision, and it really was. But that was an optional, that was something I made a decision to do. That was a choice I made. And I'm not saying this trying to martyr myself. I'm saying this because that was a decision I made to try to adjust and change my tradition, to create a new tradition for myself to sort of help me heal through loss and losing my dad. And this year, not being able to go to my mom's house because we ended up selling it, that felt like a forced transition and a new forced tradition. One that I made the decision to do, but it also was more of a result of my choice, my sister and I making the choice to sell the home. Did we have to sell the home? No. Would I have sold it if I were living in Syracuse? Probably not right away. I'm much more sentimental than my sister. My sister was born as the spawn of Satan. My mother used to call her the devil, and I was her California baby. No shade, just facts. And, she wanted to sell the house. And I understand it because she's the one who has to deal with everything in Syracuse. But this year being the first year I wasn't able to go to my childhood home and walk through the halls and decorate it, reminisce, it felt like a loss. It felt like another hit, and it took a little bit of processing and an adjustment. And what it taught me was that if you're able to spend time with your family in your childhood home, there's a few things I think you should do. One, I think you should take pictures of how your mom decorates, or your father, or whoever your caregiver or whoever raised you, how they decorate. Take pictures of the little setups. My mom used to have a Christmas village. She had collections of things, collections of Santa Clauses and collections of reindeer. I say take those photos because, one, it's somewhat of like a catalog of all the belongings, so you don't feel like you have to keep everything. But also, if you do keep stuff, you're able to decorate it the way they did and sort of recreate some of that magic and take it with you in your life beyond them. It's a way to sort of commemorate them and to keep a portion of their spirit alive. I wish I would have done that. I'm sure there's some photos we could go through, but realizing I couldn't go into the house and decorate it made me feel like, oh man, there's some things I wish I would have done. I wish I would have taken photos of her decor. I wish I would have kept more of her decorations. There's also this really great company that does processing of children's artwork. If you're a parent out there and has kids who bring artwork home, and I've seen it with my sister, you can't keep all of it. It's insane. These kids, what are you, Monet? Are these kids, who the hell are you? Over here, Michelangelo, who do you think you are? Why are you painting so much, Bob Ross? You're terrible. That's a person? That's not a potato on fire? You're not wrong. Deb's holding up my... Deb's holding up. Wait, let me get it. It's right here. I'm here talking so much trash about your child's horrible artwork, and it is bad. Let's be real. It's bad. I'm not lying. Don't hate the messenger. You know, don't shoot the messenger. Your kid's artwork is terrible. It doesn't look like a person. It looks like a potato set on fire with an Uzi. And it's impossible to keep all the artwork. I found this company afterwards, and that's why I think it's important to talk about how we go through things and helping other people go through things easier. Let me just hide this so you guys don't see it. I want it to be a big reveal. There's artwork that I wish I would have kept from my sister and I. I'm so mad that we threw all of that out. And I am a big component of letting go of a lot. The upside of us having thrown everything out is I'm not hoarding things from the past. Because I think when we hang on to too much, it hangs on to us and it sort of keeps us weighted down. Items keep us weighted down. So I think it's good to purge and all of that, but I do think we kind of fucked up by throwing away all of our childhood artwork. There's a company that you can send your artwork to in a box, and they make a digital photo album of all of it and create a new piece of artwork with all the different pieces of art that your kid made that are most likely horrible, and they make that for you. I don't know the name of the company. You guys can look it up, I'm sure. If I find it, I'll put it in the show notes. But it's a great thing for you to do when you're going through your house and you don't want to keep everything. There's a way to digitize stuff if you don't want to hang on to stuff and be a hoarder, because I think hoarding is not the answer. But one thing I did not throw out, my artwork. You're welcome, America. This is a self-portrait. If you can't tell, that's your problem. This is a self-portrait. I mean, first of all, my eyebrows are brown. Okay, this reminds me of when my grandma Jean, one time, she, was a little Stugatz towards the end. She had hot pink eyebrows and brown lips. So she mixed up her lip liner and her eyebrow liner, and she came downstairs, and my cousin Jennifer was like, "Oh, Grandma, you look really excited." My grandma had hot pink eyebrows, a real look, if you ask me. I've got blue eyeshadow, and this pig nose is something. I don't know what's more scary, the pig nose that I have or these little scoopy pigtails. The whole thing's giving pig. I do love this little bat that I have on my head. This is never going anywhere. This is an original. It may go up for auction. I don't know. That could be detrimental. It could break the art world. So I'm stuck on son of a. So I say all that to say that not being able to get in my mom's house this holiday was a little difficult. Certainly difficult. It made me feel that we probably should have done things a little bit differently as far as how we handled cleaning out the home. So that's why I wanted to tell you guys, if you go through things if you go through things in a house, make sure you think about what you really are going to want. And I say that, but in the moment, it's very difficult to do that. Pieces of furniture that may not be your style, keep them. Furniture is really something that I think is a cool hand-me-down. And my mom, being a woman that decorated and loved the 80s, everything was wicker. Our whole house was extremely flammable and crunchy. You sat down and it sounded like the Blair Witch Project. It sounded like people running at you in the woods. Anytime someone sat in a chair in our house, it was scary. And very scary. It's like, is somebody coming from the yard? Did somebody just set a spell? Was there a witch in here? And my mom used to have this wicker room divider. And I gave it to my cousin Allie. And I thought about it today. And I'm like, I'm going to have to ask for that back. I'm going to have to ask for it back. And that's the sort of thing you have a trump card for. If you give furniture away from someone who you love who died and you want it back, that should be something that is okay. Confirm or deny. I feel like you shouldn't have to argue. I realize you might like the wicker room divider. I'm coming for it. Especially when I get a home. All that furniture we gave away, I'm coming to everyone's house with the U-Haul. Hey, I'm going to need Nancy's side table. Yeah, no questions asked. Put it in the truck. Okay, let's go. Mourning for life. So not being able to get into the house was difficult. It was something I had to process. I didn't even drive by. I felt like driving by would be a little bit that's like looking at your ex's social media after you break up, which I don't do. And it's a similar thing where I don't know that you need to do that. I don't know that it's necessarily the healthiest step to take. I understand it's different with a house. You know, this isn't a human being. But I also think out of respect for the new family, me creeping around the house outside is a little weird. I did have this like fantasy of knocking on the door and asking if I could come inside. But then I immediately abandoned that because I knew I probably would burst into tears and then they'd call the cops. And then Gordy, my high school friend, would have to show up and put me in the clinker because he's a cop. I called him a few times when I was staying at my mom's house because of a noise. Oh my God. You guys, that's another thing I have to tell you. Okay, at the end of the podcast, I'll tell you. I also, I talked about going through a breakup. We don't need to get into that because I feel great and so much lighter, and it's so nice to get rid of dead weight. I had a lot of car accidents last year. Nothing major. A bunch weren't my fault, which is wild. But I definitely attribute it to chaos. And if you're in a chaotic part of your life or chaos is following you or whatever that looks like for you, sometimes when that's going on, the world also is chaotic and the road is chaotic. So that was a lot. Having to just sit in a parked spot and get sideswiped by somebody. I was like, where am I safe in a car? Maybe it's not even like the world is chaos. Maybe it's just Los Angeles. You can't even have your car parked without somebody sideswiping it. Day drinking landscapers, as I like to call them. And that was challenging. These aren't obviously huge, horrible situations. These are small on the scale of what other people go through. But I also can't stand saying that. Everything's relative. And challenges are challenges. And these were just some of the things that I experienced that were challenging and very compounding. And selling my mom's house at the beginning of the year was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life besides lose my parents. And it taught me a lot about the real estate environment, taught me a lot about what it's like to go through financial turmoil with your family and how important it is to have an understanding and have an agreement with your family in order to make those things go a little bit easier, and how much it's important to have friends in your life to support you while you're going through something like that. I wouldn't have gotten through the sale of my house if it weren't for my friends. And letting go of something like that, letting go of the last chapter of my childhood and the last chapter of my parents, it taught me a lot about letting go. It taught me a lot about really taking my time and making sure I get what I want out of a house. Rushing through a sale, biggest mistake. But I want to quickly go through some of my favorite parts of my life personally from last year. Well, this year. I guess it's still this year. So even though it was the most difficult, I will say selling my mom's house only because of all the lessons it taught me and really reminding me what a great childhood I had. Growing up in one home and having my dad there and then somebody else's dad. Were we rich? Felt rich. And being able to be there for the sale and hand off the keys per se was something that I feel is a rite of passage for an adult. Also, selling out La Jolla on Valentine's Day, the La Jolla Comedy Store, with a couple of my dear friends in tow with me. I think Leah Bonema and Katie Cazorla were on those shows with me. That was so much fun. And then going to the Mothership in Austin, Texas, and selling that out, that felt amazing. And really, those shows were something that I needed during a difficult time. Learning to play pickleball, one of my most favorite things about last year. Pickleball tennis for lazy people. Pickleball for the person who can't play tennis. Pickleball for a person who wishes that they were on top of a ping pong table. Pickleball. Tennis for Brad Williams. It's so much fun. I did it with the Change Your Brain Foundation with Dr. Amen and a bunch of other people. It was a lot of fun. I took it very seriously. I'm a very competitive bitch. I came close to winning the entire tournament, and I will be back, and there will be blood. Speaking of blood and there being blood, I went to the Grand Canyon, and that was amazing. Feeling that freaking small, also not dying. Felt beautiful to see the canyon. Also felt beautiful to see that somebody may have not survived seeing the canyon. It's just a circle of life, really. That lonely-ass wheelchair sitting on the edge. What happened? We'll never know. Some things aren't meant to be discovered. They're meant to be a mystery. Speaking of a mystery, I did the Netflix as a Joke Festival, which took over Los Angeles. Every single comedian, even people who weren't comedians yet, were in the festival. It was Netflix's soon-to-be comedians that we watch list. They just go up to baristas and say, do you want to do comedy? Get on our Netflix show. It was a blast. I got to host their Clash of the show out in the middle of nowhere. Actually, it was in Hollywood, but it was in the middle of like a wide open daytime game show. I felt like freaking, I showed up in my freaking Steve, what's his name? Steve Harvey. That's right. I looked like Steve Harvey in my blue suit. Came and got the job done. And then I got screamed at on stage by Zach Zucker, that fucker. That was a great moment of 2024. Sad, sad boy. That's right. Me and my Steve Harvey blue suit. Don't think I don't show up ready for work. I also got locked out of my house when we had to go back and do some upkeep before the sale. My sister and I got locked out of our childhood home and we had to break into it together, and that felt really special. This bitch threw me through a window and was telling me how to break in. I said, girl, I'm on top of a trash can. I'm in a recycling bin right now. Reuse, reduce, recycle. Reuse, reduce, reuse. Break in. It was a lot of fun. That was hilarious. Another one of my favorite moments was babysitting for my girlfriend. I went over and Lex was asleep and he woke up and saw me and said, what the fuck? Why are you here and where's mom? And I said, but we're going to play and we're going to bond. And that's what's going to happen. He's still a little scared of me, but he also knows I'm fun. So he's definitely intrigued. We're going to get there. But that felt really special to like go to someone's house and be responsible for another life. I was like, oh my God, you love and trust me. This feels special. I don't know why. I don't know that you should. I once left my Chihuahua in a hot car. Are you kidding me? Never. Would never leave my Chihuahua in a hot car. By the way, my friend Sarah did a commercial about leaving your baby in a hot car. It'll make you cry your eyes out. I also had a great time at the end of the year doing my Funny Bone show at Syracuse Funny Bone on my mother's birthday. My sister brought a box of wine in honor of No Pants Nance. The lady loved a box of wine. Always went for a box of wine. We cracked that baby open. I poured a few out for my fans in the front row. We all took a little sip, poured a little out for No Pants Nance, and that felt beautiful. I also promoted being in a movie that's going to be out, I think, now in February, called F, Marry, Kill, that one of my dear friends, Laura Murphy, who was the director of Girl Code, directed with Lucy Hale. And it looks like a great movie. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's a horror comedy, and that comes out, I believe, end of February 2025. So that felt really like a dream come true. And then nothing really tops for me getting to sit down with Stamos, my boy, and gush over each other. Literally gush over each other. Best friends forever. Nothing beat that for me. To me, that felt like a moment of pure manifestation, a moment of pure joy, the universe giving back to me a little bit. And also, it made me feel really encouraged to move in the direction I'm moving with this podcast. You know, I'm here chilling with America's favorite uncle. Have mercy. And I felt so encouraged to continue going in the direction that I'm going in. And so those are some of my personal moments that I loved in 2024, even though some were difficult and hard to go through. I don't know what was more difficult, selling my mom's house or wondering if the person in the wheelchair was okay, and then walking away from both of those being just fine. I don't know what that says about me as a person. But I wanted to tell you before we go about what happened with my nephew over the holidays. And it was really interesting. You know, Christmas is such a special time. My nephew is going to be 10. And Christmas is always confusing for some people. It's like Jesus' birthday, which is confusing because there's Santa, but it's not a Jewish holiday. But wasn't Jesus Jewish? It's all very confusing. I can't keep track. And I said, religious holiday? Is Jesus' birthday? Who's this guy? It was sad because it was the year that my nephew decided what he thought the truth about Santa was. That's what I'll just say in case anybody's listening, in case there's soft ears, tender ears. It was the year my nephew discovered what we'll call the truth, which I still refuse to believe. I believe in Krampus. I believe in Santa Claus. Okay, the long-lost brothers of Christmas. And Elliot found out, I honestly think his parents didn't fight enough. I was about 15 when I found out. And I still haven't accepted it as a fact. I don't accept it as truth. Magic lives on in my heart. And I think that's probably why I took it personally. I was angry at my sister. I'm like, what? You let him think Santa Claus isn't real? She's like, Jess, he's going to be 10. I'm like, but so? Can't we extend this a little bit more? Because I know him. He's going to be vindictive and say it to his sister. I thought that. And then that little, you know what, said something to Karina on Christmas morning, and we had to do cleanup. We had to do housekeeping because of him. He says something, and I was like, you better go in the other room right now. I'm going to get your mom. You better go in the other room right now. I was livid. I'm like, you hear what this kid's in here. It's blasphemy. You know, religious people don't like when you say Jesus Christ. Same thing when you say that SC isn't real. You're going to take Jesus Christ's name in vain? Well, you better not try and kick Santa Claus out of this house. I'll tell you one thing you're not going to do on my watch. And I think in my desperate attempt, because I will be honest, I desperately was figuring out a way to reverse the damage. Like, how can I convince him that this isn't what? No, your parents are lying. They told you Santa's not real. Now it's a lie. Now it's a full-blown lie. We should call the cops. I think we should call the authorities because now you're being completely lied to. This is child abuse. The night before, on Christmas Eve, when Karina was in bed, Karina's younger, 18 months younger than Elliot. Elliot's up and we're doing presents. And I go, Elliot, you can't see this. He goes, no, it's all right, Aunt Jess. I know. He looks me in my soul. And I go, Elliot, no. I'm literally in this moment of not accepting that he's accepted what his parents told him about Santa Claus. I am not accepting it. I'm fighting this more than me finding out my mom died. And I honestly think we relive moments like that, and they sort of manifest in little moments, like me not acknowledging and not wanting to acknowledge my mom died somehow plays itself out in this moment with my nephew where I'm like, no, Santa Claus is real. Please, because I think sometimes it made me realize the importance of believing in something and how sometimes others' belief in something reinforces us in a way, and how important it is for us to believe in something greater than ourselves. And I think that's what it was for me. And also hanging on to some magic. Like I needed Elliot to still be this sweet little boy. I needed him to stay encapsulated in this era of his life. And so he's saying, it's okay, Aunt Jess, I know. And I go, Elliot, no. And he grabs me by my arm. He goes, Aunt Jess, I know. It's okay. And I'm like, what? No, it's not okay. It's not okay. It just made me realize the importance in believing in something, in believing in magic. And I think that Santa Claus thing that happens to us, it sort of is the beginning of us questioning magic. And I think that's the beginning of us becoming adults and realizing that there's a different aspect of life and there's a different aspect to the world. But one of my most important lessons I guess I can share, not just from 2024, but from how I view the world, is it's important to find magic wherever you can and to create it wherever you can for yourselves and for other people in life and in your life. So many people are suffering and struggling and have nothing and have so much less than you do. And a lot of people live from lack and live in their survival mode. And the most important thing and the most special thing we can do and be is magic for someone in someone else's life. And you have to do that in your own life first, but I do believe in magic. Yeah, you know it's true. I do believe in magic. And I think as an adult, you have to find new creative ways to make that in your life and make it a reality. And that's the funny thing about magic, is it is a reality. You just have to look for it a little bit more as an adult. And so I hope you guys had a great year. Happy New Year. I hope this podcast has been a bright light for you. Please look forward to Dying Laughing with Jessimae. That's going to be coming up in the new year. And thank you guys so much. Also, I'll be in Chicago this Friday at the Chicago Improv, Friday and Saturday, the 3rd and 4th. Come see me live. There's a bunch of other dates on my website. I'll be touring in 2025, so plenty of time to come see me live and laugh away your sorrow. Until tomorrow, Happy New Year!